Okay, so what did we, do in yesterday's class?
We have.
We were discussing about the different attacks, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Different attacks. I had asked you to find out and come about 2 types of attacks, 4 types of attacks. I had put a message in the group. Did you see that?
Yes, madam.
Okay, have you prepared for it?
Some technical term I have to see, ma'am, for that.
Just a second. Who's this? Who's the person who's talking to me right now?
Enough.
Pranav. Okay, what is the technical term? I'm just asking you to find out about those 4 attacks. 4 attacks, whatever I had put in the, let me open the WhatsApp and check what I have. Put in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, it is about, I had asked you to find out about Google attack and AWS DDoS attack, what it is about. Have you found out what it is about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can you just share your findings? Forget about the technical terms and other things. We will try to find out what it is. So just share, tell me what have you understood regarding the,
AWS attack, ma'am. Massive traffic is shown in that. Ma'am, means 2.3 terabyte of traffic is generated by attackers, ma'am.
What was that AWS DDoS attack? AWS is Amazon Web Services. So
Yes, ma'am. DDoS attack is done.
DDoS attack is done. So either some flooding the network or whatever. But then what is happening in AWS DDoS attack? Yeah, please tell me.
Ma'am, the attacker using ma'am, the attacker hijacked the customers. And that's what, ma'am, CIDCP. Technical term.
Okay, it is some, what is it? CIDCP?
Hijack connectionless, lightweight access protocol.
Okay, some sort of protocol. Okay, fine.
Yes,
then? It is attacking. Can you repeat that sentence once more?
The attacker responsible used hijacked connectionless lightweight
protocol
access protocol.
Okay, okay. So some sort of lightweight protocol. Okay. Okay. Were you able to find out what that protocol does, that lightweight hijacking lightweight protocol does it? Can you just tell it out? I will just type it here. Can you just tell that, tell regarding that?
That hijack conjunctions means.
Hijack, 1 second. What is the name? I'm just putting it in the Google. Hijack.
Injection.
Injection.
Less.
Injectionless.
No, ma'am. Conjunction.
Congestionless.
Yes, ma'am.
Congestionless. Okay, hijack congestion.
Lightweight access protocol.
Lightweight access protocol. It's LDAP, lightweight directory access protocol, is it?
Lightweight, yes, ma'am.
Or did you find out what it is?
Ma'am, it is means so many conjunctions, ma'am. Means like see, ma'am, like when like ma'am,
Yeah.
when they are opening server, ma'am, for
Okay.
something, ma'am, okay.
Okay.
That time, what they are doing, ma'am, the attackers, they
Hmm.
are means pushing some snoops in that.
Pushing some.
Oh, sorry, sir, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Don't worry, I appreciate your effort. At least you have taken the effort to find out what it is. But then at the PG level, it should go a little more beyond that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Did you find out what is it? I couldn't understand. They are pushing something to the server. You said, what are they pushing to the server? Hmm?
1 second, ma'am.
Ah, yes, yes. Pranav is the person from Bharat University, is it? Or from Meenakshi?
Bharat University, ma'am.
Bharat University. You are the fresher or you passed out 2-3 years back?
No, ma'am. 2017 pass out, ma'am.
17 pass out. Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay, so I mean, I understood that you have found out something, but it's not complete. Okay, so
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
next class in the sense, not in the 4th hour today, tomorrow also we have a class, right? So tomorrow's class, prepare a 2-slide PPT. With this, what is this AWS Google DDoS attack? And put some few points. And then like what happens, and did I mean, AWS find a way to mitigate the DDoS attack? That is, mitigate in the sense, I mean, reduce the effect of DDoS attack. Find out about all those things. Prepare about this Go. I mean, DDoS, AWS DDoS attack for 2 to 3 slides. Then one more attack was given to you, right? The Google attack 2020.
Yeah,
Google
ma'am,
attack.
but
Okay.
it happened, ma'am, in 2017, ma'am.
Is it the
But-
year is wrong? Huh? Okay, fine.
But
Okay.
they can disclose in 2020, ma'am.
20. Okay. So what that attack is all about? What
Ma'am,
happened in that Google attack? Yeah,
ma'am,
did
the
you-
attackers sent, ma'am, snooped packet to 1,80,000 packets to web server.
Okay, some snot packets were sent. Okay.
Yes, and
Mhm.
ma'am,
Okay.
which turned the sender response to Google.
Okay.
Means they are done like that, ma'am.
Okay. So just collect totally 4 slides, 2 slides for AWS DDoS attack, 2 slides for Google attack. Okay. So we will discuss it once again tomorrow. I appreciate your effort in putting it some time and finding out about it, but then that is not enough. Okay. So we should improve in all the aspects. That's the reason why I take all these extra classes. Okay. Rather than going very fast. Okay. Now, Srihari, tell me, what about your this thing, GitHub attack and 6 banks DDoS attack? 6 banks were attacked. Srihari, are you there? Is Srihari not there online?
There, ma'am.
Huh?
There, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, I can see Srihari, but then why is he not unmuting and responding?
Maybe, ma'am, network issue.
Network issue. Srihari, this is not acceptable in the sense I get response and other things only from Pranav. It may not be completely correct, whatever he writes, even including the lab observation. You keep giving me excuses. Okay. So I don't like, in the sense, I don't want to tell again and again, like the UG students, do this, do that, and other things. You people are at the PG level. So you should be responsible for yourself. Okay. You should take things at your stride. So you should be able to go something or do something more than what the faculty is teaching you. Find out what is all these things, and you should take your learning to the next step. So that is what is expected at a PG level. Rather than that, I am coming behind you, I'm asking you where is the observation. 10 times I'm asking you, then I get a response telling that my laptop is not working, only I'm connecting through mobile. Now, okay, you're connecting through mobile. I asked you to find out and come regarding some attack. So that also has not happened. Okay, this cannot be this thing, but this is the first warning for an assignment classwork which I've given. So next time when these kind of things happen, what I will do is, from my side is, I will just strike out the attendance for that particular hour. This hour I'm not doing. So whatever be the excuse, otherwise beforehand you have to tell me. If you have a genuine reason to share, You should tell me beforehand. Okay. But then Pranav, at least he found out. Oh, of course, he didn't understand certain things. That I do agree.
Ma'am,
Okay.
ma'am,
So,
ma'am,
yeah, what is it, Srihari?
ma'am, from yesterday I'm facing network issue. Ma'am,
Yes, Srihari.
am I audible? From yesterday I'm facing network issues, ma'am.
From yesterday, you are facing network issue. Okay, then, okay. So this network security lab observation was not given yesterday, right? What about that?
Yes, ma'am, I need to do it laptop only, ma'am.
So you start giving excuses, even I will start treating people in a similar manner. So now you wouldn't have done this part, right? Where are you right now located? Are you in Chennai?
Yes, ma'am.
You are in Chennai, you're telling network issue. The thing that what I understand is you have not done your work. If that is the case, I'll start dealing with students in a stricter manner. I'll simply start striking out the attendance. Later, you will feel sorry for it. So I don't want that to happen. So
in 4th hour, I'll be.
Okay. So let it not happen in the 4th hour. I'll give you one more day time tomorrow, because I have told Pranav also 2 slides. If you, 2 slides for your attack, 2 slides for your Google GitHub attack, and 2 slides for your 6 banks DDoS attack. Okay. So you present it tomorrow's class. Got it?
Sure.
Both Pranav and Srihari.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So let me continue with my topics, whatever I have been doing. So do you remember where I stopped in yesterday's class? Which attack did I stop? I think I started with the DDoS attack.
Zero-day DDoS attack.
Yes, very good. 0-day attack. Very good. 0-day attack. Let me come down. Yes, let me. Okay. Okay, 0-day attacks. Okay, so we will continue with our, we saw DOS attack, denial of service. Then what was DDoS attack? Then I gave you one type of DDoS attack called volumetric attack, explained about TCP SYN flood attack. Then, yeah, all these things was, yeah. Then we looked into that, yeah, TCP SYN flood attack, which manipulates the TCP handshaking, which happens between the client and server before a real-time communication starts. Okay, that was also discussed. We discussed about DNS amplification example, and okay, so that was volumetric attack. Then after that, okay, 0-day attacks. Okay, so what was basically 0-day attacks? Attack which happens even before the patch for a product has been released. Okay, so you're trying to exploit the vulnerabilities when no patch has been released. Okay, so because the attack is occurring before the day one of the vulnerability being publicly known, so you call it as a 0-day. Okay, so that's what is a 0-day attack. Okay, so all the new attacks, okay, it is being characterized as a 0-day attack. All the new attacks has been characterized as a 0-day attack. Just a second. Okay, so that's why we call it as a 0-day or 0-minute attack. Okay, before the vulnerability is made public, okay, they try to exploit the vulnerability, that the attack that happens before the patch has been released. Okay, that's the that's what is called a 0-day attack. Okay, so even the software vendors, okay, so when they develop the product, okay, so they actually try to offer some sort of monetary rewards or some other incentives. Okay, so to people who are able to report 0-day vulnerabilities because before releasing their software in the market or before releasing the product in the market. Okay, so they actually offer monetary reward or incentives just to in case they are able to, these people are able to anyone is able to report a 0-day vulnerability. Okay, so that's what is called zero-day vulnerability. Okay, so there are many examples also, Stuxnet and other things. Okay, I'm not going to detail of it. Okay, because this is one type of DDoS attack. So next one is what is called a Smurf attack. Okay, Smurf attack. Okay, Smurf attack is also a type of DDoS attack. Okay, so here the computer network becomes inoperable. Okay, computer network becomes inoperable. Okay, you cannot work on it. Okay, so actually the Smurf program, okay, so it actually exploits the vulnerabilities of your two protocols. One is IP, Internet Protocol, and Internet Control Message Protocol, ICMP protocol. Okay, so the vulnerabilities of these two protocols are being exploited by your Smurf attack. Okay, so that's what is Smurf attack. Okay, this is also one type of DDoS, distributed denial of service attack. So this is actually named after the DDoS Smurf malware. Okay, so that's what enables the execution of Smurf attack. Just a second, some disturbance. Right. Okay. Okay, that is we have what is called a DDoS Smurf malware. Okay, so that's what executes and causes this Smurf attack. Okay, so actually it is something similar to your ping flooding. Ping flooding. Okay, so that is by sending a large number of ICMP, echo request and other things. Okay, but the difference between this ping flooding and this Smurf malware attack is, what happens is, in Smurf malware, what it does is it will do some sort of amplification attack. Amplification attack, in the sense it will boost the damage by exploiting the characteristics of your broadband network. Okay, so that's why we call it as an amplification attack. Amplification attack. So that's the difference between ping flooding attack. That's by flooding the network with ping messages and your Smurf attack. Okay, so this is basically a amplification attack vector that will boost the damage potential by exploiting the characteristics of broadband network. Okay, so again, when you say amplification, so the amplification actually correlates with the number of hosts, how much of amplification happens in a Smurf attack. Okay, for example, if the IP broadband network, if the IP broadband network, it's having 500 hosts, okay, so then it will produce, let's say, 500 responses for each fake echo request. Okay, so typically each of these relies on the same size as just like the size will be same as your original ping request. Okay, so if there are 500 hosts, it will produce 500 fake echo requests. So you can imagine the magnitude of it, and again it gets amplified. Okay, so it will boost the damage potential and it will cause heavy damage. Okay, so that's what is your Smurf attack. Okay, it will disable the network, disable the service of the network it's providing. The main goal of the attack is to disable the service the network is providing. Okay, so it makes use of your ICMP protocol and Internet Protocol. Okay, so that's what is your Smurf attack. Okay, I think there is a diagram which I have shown here. Okay, this is a Smurf attack. So you can see here what happens in a Smurf attack. Are you able to see the picture correctly? Both of you? Pranav and Srihari, both of you are there, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what happens in the Smurf attack, you can see. Okay. So the steps, how this Smurf attack scenario is being broken down, it's being given here. So first, what will happen is the malware. When I say malware, it can be virus or worm. So that's what we will discuss in the next topic. Okay, so what will happen is the malware will create a network packet attached to a false IP address. Okay, so that's actually what is called spoofing. Okay, spoofing of network. Okay, so inside the packet, what it will have is it will be a ICMP ping message. Okay, asking the network nodes that receive the packet to send back a reply. Okay, so these replies, reply is also called echo. Okay, are then sent back to the network IP address again and again, setting up some sort of infinite loop. Okay, so that's what happens in a Smurf scenario. Okay, so the same thing is what is written here. The Smurf malware is used to generate fake echo request containing a spoofed source IP. Okay, actually that is the target server address. Okay, so the request is sent to an intermediate IP broadband network and it's transmitted to all the network hosts on the network. Okay, so each host sends a ICMP response to the spoofed source address. So with enough ICMP responses being forwarded, the target server is being brought down. Okay, so so many ICMP ping messages from spoofed IP address being sent again and again. So it will create some sort of a infinite loop. Okay, so when it is being combined with the IP broadband broadcasting, okay, so which will send the malicious packet to every IP address in the network, this particular attack, that is a Smurf attack, can cause a complete shutdown of that particular network or complete denial of service. Okay, so whatever services are available in the network, that will become totally inaccessible. Okay, then what will happen is the services on the intermediate network also will be degraded. If not brought down, it will be totally degraded. So that's what happens in a Smurf attack. Okay, so Smurf attack, which exploits the vulnerabilities of IP and ICMP. Okay, so whatever I have told is being mentioned here. Okay, so the attackers use a program called Smurf that builds a network packet which appears at the attacked server. Okay, so when attacked, server will receive the ICMP packet. Default, the server will respond to the request. The Smurf program will generate the necessary amount of ICMP request to overload the victim until the device is not able to provide any necessary services on the network. Okay, so have you understood the concept of what is called smurfing attack? It's similar to a pink flood attack, but then here amplification happens. So damage happens with even more greater strength. Okay, so yeah, that's what is Smurf attack all about. Have you understood?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So how to prevent this sort of a Smurf attack? Okay, so like one thing is, you should configure all your routers, host, everything so that it should not respond to any ICMP echo request. Okay, so that way you can configure all your host, router, and all these things. Okay, then again, also you can ensure that make sure that you block the directed broadcast traffic, whatever is coming to your networks. No broadcast should happen to your network. Okay, because this is ICMP message broadcast that is going to happen from fake IP address. Okay, so that can be prevented by blocking directed broadcast traffic straight away coming to your network. So these two ways you can block your Smurf attack to some extent. Okay. Again, whatever ping request is coming from outside your network. Okay, those things can also be prevented at the firewall. Okay, so firewall, you would have heard about firewalls in the organization. So you can, reconfigure the perimeter of your firewall and disallow the ping request, whatever is coming from outside the perimeter of your organization. Okay, so these are the different ways with which you can, prevent your Smurf attack. Okay, so that's what a Smurf attack all about. I hope all of you are making a note of the headings in the in your notebook. Are you making a note of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, at least the headings and one line about it. So that will give you a a brief idea regarding what it is, because the syllabus is very vast. Okay, and network security is a subject which is slightly tougher when compared to the other subjects. Do you feel that? Or you feel it's okay? It's not very tough.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, okay. If you say it's okay, I'm very happy to hear that. That's the reason why I take this extra class and go a bit slow for you to understand. Okay, again, I mean, you can always let me know if you're not able to understand certain concepts. I can repeat it again. There is no need to feel for anything. All I want you is, at the end of the semester, you should be well versed with the network security concepts as well as tools. Okay, fine. So next we start with black hole attack. Okay, so this black hole attack is also called packet drop attack. Packet dropping attack. Okay, packet drop attack. Okay, that's what is black hole attack. Okay, so like this black hole attack will occur when the router will delete all the message it is supposed to forward. Okay, it will delete all the message it is supposed to forward. Okay, so I mean, this is also a type of denial of service attack. Okay, so the router which is actually supposed to relay the packets. Okay, so that what it will do is it will discard the packet rather than routing it to the destination. Okay, so it will discard the packet, it will throw off the packet or delete the packet. Okay, so this usually will happen when the router is becoming compromised from a number of different causes. Okay, so I mean, the router is I mean, being attacked by some DDoS tool. So I mean, it's under the control of that particular tool or whatever. So it is actually discarding. That's the reason why it is not able to forward the packet and it's dropping the packets. Okay, so that's the reason why I mean, it's called a packet drop attack also. Okay, and again, packet drop attack is actually very hard to detect and prevent also. Okay, then rather than dropping all the packets which it is supposed to forward to the destination, sometimes the malicious router, what it will do is it will selectively drop the packet. Selective dropping also happens. Selective dropping. What is selective dropping? Selective dropping of packet. Selective dropping of packet. Selective dropping means it will not drop all the packets, because if it drops all the packets, it might be immediately detected. Okay, so rather than that, it will drop only certain packets which come in every t seconds, or it will randomly select certain portions of the packet. Okay, so and then at certain intervals of time, so those packets will be dropped. Okay, so that is selective dropping of packet. That's when it is called a greyhound attack. Greyhound attack. Greyhound attack is actually one categorization of a black hole attack. Okay, so that's what is called a selective dropping of packet. So that's what your black hole attack is all about. Okay, so the router, which is actually supposed to route the packet from source to destination, will drop the incoming and the outgoing information. Okay, it will capture all the packets and discard them. Okay, instead of forwarding them to the destination. Sometimes it happens on a selective basis. That is what is called greyhound attack, because if you drop every now and then or frequently or continuously, that has a greater chances of being discovered. Okay, so that's the reason why selective dropping of packets happen. Okay, so then another thing to be noted is the effectiveness of the network will be decreased during this particular attack. Okay, and network parameters like delay, throughput, everything will be changed during the black hole attack. Okay, so the delay gets increased because the packets will not be delivered to the destination. Okay, so that's what your black hole attack is all about. Okay, so now let's have a quick recap of all the various DOS attacks what we have learned. So initially we studied about denial of service attack. Okay, disrupting the services from the server by degrading the performance, either by flooding the network with some packets or some sort of attack happens and the network is being brought down, that's when we call it as a denial of service attack. So then we have this distributed denial of service attack, wherein I gave you an example as a TCP sync flood attack. Okay, where the TCP handshaking is being compromised. Do you remember yesterday I said about TCP handshaking? Before the real life communication starts, that is the client and the server communication starts. Okay, so synchronization, acknowledgement, and acknowledgement messages should be exchanged between the client and the server. So that gets, that is being blocked. So that what happens in a TCP sync flood attack. Okay, so then we discussed about volumetric attack by bots. Okay, volumes of request being sent and the bandwidth of the network gets affected, and there as a result your ISP will be forced to remove you from the network or put you offline in order to save the other host. Okay, so that's when a volumetric attack happens. I gave you the example of a hotel scenario, somebody calling the hotel and telling give me one of everything and call me back and repeat the order. Okay, so and the callback number is given that of the victim. So the victim will start getting a lot of information which they didn't request for. So in fact, they are flooding the network with unnecessary information. And finally, when that happens from parallelly happens from a lot of botnet army, okay, it becomes a volumetric attack. Okay, so then we discussed about zero-day DDoS attack. What was zero-day DDoS attack? Okay, attacks happening on day 0, before the product is being released, or before the vulnerability is made public, or before the patch is being released for found out for a particular product. That's when we call it as a zero-day DDoS attack. Then we looked into what is called smurf attack today. What is smurfing? Exploiting the vulnerabilities of your IP and ICMP. So a lot of ICMP requests will be sent, flooded, boosted, the attack will be boosted, and heavy damage be caused by smurf malware. Okay, then we looked into also called black hole attack. Okay, so these are all the different types of DOS attack and DDoS attack. Okay, so what is black hole attack? Black hole is discarding the IP packets when it is being forwarded from source to the destination. The router is dropping the packet or discarding the packet. Okay, so that's what is called black hole attack. Okay, so then this is done on a selective basis. Okay, so rather at certain intervals, okay, or at certain frequencies it is happening. So then when it happens on a selective basis, we call it as a greyhound attack. Okay, so these are the different types of denial of service and distributed denial of service attack. Have you understood? Are you listening? Both of you are listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, understanding?
Yes,
Okay. You have any doubts, you can ask me. Do you have any doubts now? Any doubts? Okay, otherwise yesterday I had shared the PPT. Today also after the class I will share the remaining PPT. Okay, go through the PPT. It's actually very, very interesting. If you have any, go through it. Later if you find doubts also, you get back to me. Okay? Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Only when you have doubts, you learn. Otherwise, the learning doesn't happen. Okay, so next coming to network layer attacks. Okay, so network layer. Okay, so in the OSI layer, you would have learned about the 7 layers in the OSI layer: presentation, session, transport, network, data link, physical, and so many layers you would have learned. Okay, so in that, one of the most important layer is what is called your network layer, ISO OSI layer. Okay, so what is the responsibility of the network layer? It will transmit the packets from source to the destination by finding out the best route, which has got the lowest cost. And again, it will route through the shortest path from the source to the destination. Okay, so when you say an attack on the network layer, what basically happens is you are disrupting the path between the source and the destination that is chosen from the routing protocol. Okay, so now we will look into what are the various attacks which generally happen on a network layer. Okay, so the first one is what is called the spoof or evasion attack. Okay, spoof or evasion attack. Okay, so in this class of attack, so the attacker intentionally in the sense purposely, purposely rewrites IPv4 or UDP and TCP fields to try to hide from the firewall rules. Okay, so it is modifying, manipulating with IPv4 or user datagram protocol or the transmission control protocol fields. Okay, so that it's not getting, it doesn't get detected by the firewall. Okay, so for example, if I take an attack and use IPv4 fragmentation, I might be able to hide the attack from firewall policy rules, because as an attacker, I hope the firewall pattern matching code does not does not cover that particular condition. Okay, so a knowledgeable person rewrites and ensures that it's not being detected by the firewall. Okay, so that's what is called a spoof or a evasion attack. Okay, so one type of spoof or an evasion attack is what is called identity spoofing or IP address spoofing. So you can see here, identity spoofing or IP address spoofing. Okay, IP address, all of you know what is an IP address and other things. Okay, so it's written spoofing. What is the spoofing actually? What is the word meaning of this spoofing? Impersonation. Okay, so it can either be impersonation of a user or a device or a client on the internet. In the impersonation on the internet, that's what is called spoofing. Okay, so it's basically used to disguise the source of attack traffic. Okay, so your IP address spoofing. Okay, so actually spoofing in the sense you are trying to fool. Okay, so you are presenting, you can call it as a false truth. You are presenting a false truth in a very credible way, in such a way that people believe you. Okay, presenting a false truth. Okay, or fooling, that's what is called spoofing. Okay, so all of you are aware that in computer networks, communication happens through the exchange of data packets. Okay, and they'll be containing multiple headers, which will be used for routing and to ensure the transmission continuity. Okay, so one such header is what is called your source IP address. You can see here the IPv4 packet header is being shown here. Okay, so one such header is what is called your source IP address. So that will actually indicate the IP address of the packet sender, sender's IP address. That is a source IP address. Okay, so what you are trying to do is you are falsifying the content of the source IP address. So with some sort of random numbers. Okay, so it is basically done either to mask the sender's identity, mask in the sense hide, either to mask means hide, either to hide the sender's identity, okay, or to launch some sort of DDoS attack. Okay, so when this IP spoofing attack happens, it will cause an attacker's IP address to appear to be a trusted IP address. You're in some way you're trying to fooling. Okay, so after gaining access to the network with the valid IP address, so the attacker can actually modify or reroute or delete your data, whatever. Okay, so for this, what has to be done is, at first the hacker or the attacker needs to find the IP address of a trusted host. Okay, then they will modify the header of the packet. Okay, so which is being sent, so that it appears to the computer that the packet is coming from a trusted source. So okay, so that's why we call it as spoofing, falsifying, impersonation of a device, a user, or a chat. Okay, then after gaining access to the network, the attacker can modify, delete, or whatever, reroute your data. Okay, so that's what is called spoofing. Okay, so then, yeah, I mean, whatever I just told is there in the 2 slides. Yeah, this technique is used from the attackers to gain unauthorized access to the servers. Okay, attackers will send messages to the server, not with its own IP address, but then with a trusted IP address. Okay, so this is the correct IP address of some other trusted source. Okay, so you're falsifying and sending that to the attacker. Okay, so the server will not understand that it's getting the traffic from the attacker. It feels that it's from a trusted source. Okay, so after that, after the attacker will find the trusted IP address, it will modify the header of the packet and other things. So the main root cause of DDoS attack is actually IP spoofing. Okay, so that's a point to be noted. Okay, so actually when you say spoofing attack, when you say spoofing attack, there are different types of spoofing attacks also. So that I have not included here because I felt it is not necessary as a part, I mean, in depth is not necessary for you. But then I want both of you to find out about these two. One, there are 2 types of spoofing attacks. Okay, I will write it in the next IP spoofing attacks. There are 2 types. Find out about what is blind spoofing attack. Okay, so this is also called TCP sequence prediction attack. TCP sequence prediction attack. And the second type is what is called non-blind spoofing. Non-blind spoofing. Okay, so please include this also in your PPT. Okay, Pranav and Srihari. Pranav can find out about blind spoofing. This Pranav can do. Okay, blind spoofing. What is blind spoofing? And non-blind spoofing, Srihari can find out. Okay, so include this in your PPT. Okay, I hope you have understood. The remaining 2 I have included in the WhatsApp group, that Google attack and other things. So find out about that. In addition to that, you find out about what is blind spoofing. No need of too many details. Just 1 or 2 lines about what is blind spoofing. Okay, this is an extra piece of information meant for you. What is blind spoofing? And second one is what is non-blind spoofing. Okay, right. Then, okay, next let's move on to the next type of attack. That is what is called your hijacking attack. Okay, so hijacking, just like an airplane, aeroplane is being hijacked. Okay, the hijacker will take control of the flight between the 2 entities and masquerades as one of them. Similarly, we have what is called this hijacking attack. Okay, so attacker takes control of the communication. Okay, so attacker takes control of the communication. Okay, so there are different types. Actually, there is something called session hijacking. Session hijacking. Okay, session hijacking. Okay, so session hijacking in the sense like this one session of TCP IP. Somebody is trying to call. Sir, can you mute for 2 minutes, sir? Ramesh, sir? I'll just finish my class. Sorry. Okay.
Yes, madam. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. I'll just finish my class. 2 minutes, sir. Yeah. So session hijacking. So session hijacking means like you are taking control of one particular TCP IP session. Okay, without the user's permission. Okay, one active TCP IP communication session without the user's permission is being taken over. Okay, so when this is being successfully implemented, what will happen is the attackers will assume the identity of the compromised user, okay, and enjoys the same access and the resources as the compromised user. Okay, so I mean, again, there are 2 types of hijacking, active and passive hijacking. Active and passive hijacking, depending upon how it is being done. Okay, active and passive hijacking is also there. So when you say active hijacking means the act, I mean, I will just write here active and passive hijacking. Okay, active hijacking, passive hijacking. Okay, active hijacking means attacker will get directly involved with the target. Okay, attacker will get directly involved with the target. That's when you call it as an active hijacking. Okay, so if the attacker is just passively monitoring the traffic, then we call it as a passive hijacking. Okay, so that's what is called hijacking. Okay, the demonstration is also there. Okay, I mean, we will take it up in the next session. Sir has already joined, so let me stop here. So we have one more class in the 4th hour. So that time we will continue. Okay, have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me stop recording.